Hello, everyone, and we're back for your weekly dose of Schmodown. Once again, I'm Matt, and joining me as always is the personality, Chris Anthony Lopez.
You're damn right. The personality back on Spin from the Real. What's going on, Matt? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm shocked. I'm. Let Let's just say something we predicted happened. Unlike last week, where nothing we predicted happened.
I mean, yeah. there's been a lot going on this past week. Like this
Yeah.
week is really like not even like the Shimoda's been taking a toll on me because it's hitting me left and right. But then life's hitting me left and right. Work is going crazy. Like today, I'm just glad I get to sit down on the floor. Shout out to Jen Sturger. She was doing this on the preview show on Twitch yesterday. But I'm chilling. I am just chilling.
No. I'm just like I'm still like speechless from that match that we won't talk about since it just aired.
Yeah,
If this was
Imagine
Thursday, we'd talk about it. Let's just say I'm in shock, and something I said could happen happened, and yeah.
no spoilies, but it was a good match. Both
Yes,
competitors
great
played a
match,
good game.
great
I
match.
loved watching it. But yeah, it was it I was damn close. I
Yeah.
was damn close. And my Twitter will explain that if that means anything.
Yes.
But no, this week in the Schmodown has been absolutely crazy. Not only with the pay-per-view that we had on Friday, which I know we chatted about a lot, especially the night of and the next day, but just the tournament matches have been bringing it too.
Without a doubt.
We've seen a lot of not only like some surprising performances, but some maybe like I don't want to say some upsets, but some just quality matches across the board from everybody. And we
Yes.
say it every single week on this show, and I've been seeing it especially a lot lately with what's going on, like on the Schmodown front. Like Christian should be over the moon about how these matches are panning out. Because if I'm not mistaken, last Wednesday when we went live post, I want to say it was Ice Pick and Spicy Sabrina Ramirez.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to talk about that match. So I guess we'll start with that one because especially with that match, it had a ripple effect throughout the community for reasons I don't necessarily want to get into.
Right. But you still
Because
gotta give respect to the community for part of how things went
yeah.
down.
So just to just rip the band-aid off. Vinny Mancuso beat Sabrina Ramirez and it was her first match in the Schmodown ever.
Played a
Vinny's
great
big
match.
fan of this.
Played a great
Yeah,
match.
she played a great game, and usually she would have came out on top. So I respected the hell out of her game. It was fantastic, and like Vinny, like I said, no stranger to the game, but he came out on top, especially after getting that young adult slice in the second round. I was
Yeah,
surprised,
second round.
but he did a decent job with it. But Vinny moved on. Sabrina was eliminated, but a lot of people in the community were being
Taking shots,
awfully
yeah.
rude.
They're being awful and taking shots at Sabrina for no reason. Like, no reason whatsoever.
And like I said, I don't want to dwell on it too much because the community definitely came out in droves when this happened, whether they are directly involved with the Schmodown or if they're fans just like us. But I couldn't be any happier with how the community as a whole reacted to this. Because there were certain people that were pinpointed saying, "Oh, I would have done better than you. You're only doing this because you're pretty." So all
It's like,
this,
no.
like, shut up. Like, just shut the hell up.
As RB3 would say, that's but in a more serious tone, disrespectful. It was just straight up disrespectful.
Yeah, like, and I want to say it was, I forget who it was exactly. Oh, I think it was Janine or Emma, one of them said that, like, yo, we don't have to do this. I want to say it was Janine. Now that I think about it, it's like, they don't have to do this at all. Who the hell is making them participate in this? No one, absolutely no one.
They're doing it
And
out of love.
if fans are being just straight up disrespectful, like there's a fine line between being like a fan and maybe not liking someone's character or not liking a performance that they had or something. That's fine. That's perfectly cool. And I guarantee a lot of them are cool with that. But going at someone's person
and then taking shots at their personal life, which shouldn't
and
even be.
questioning why they're there in the first place for whatever reason you might be questioning it. That is disrespectful. Who the hell are we? If we came on this show every week and shit talked every single competitor, like we don't like them as a person, they're this, they're that, that's gross. Like no, who are we to come from that position? I don't understand it, and I was so happy with how the community reacted, not only on Facebook but on Twitter, especially on Twitter.
Yes,
But
Twitter is where we saw a lot of it, and it was just
exactly. It's gross and it's disgusting. I'm glad these people, we don't have to worry about them anymore. And hopefully we don't have to worry about anything like this going forward. Like the Schmodown's still, it's big, but it's still relatively small.
Yeah.
It's stuck, it's in this YouTube space.
Yep.
So we're still pretty linked to one another. Like it's easy to get in contact with somebody like this. Obviously, it's how these messages towards Sabrina specifically blew up. And oh my God, it's taken us 7 seasons to get to this point.
Right.
And I can't even imagine, because I barely, I have an awful memory, but I can't even remember how it could have been for Clark, for Rachel, for Emma, and everyone that preceded Sabrina. Every single woman that preceded Sabrina. Like I knew it had to have been bad. And I guarantee they did a great job of handling it. But 7 seasons later, and we're still facing this.
Right.
I get it. We get new people every week. I guarantee this one gets new fans every week. But damn, man, like just let the people compete. Who cares? Who cares? Like what we think of them as people because they're presenting their characters to us.
Right.
They're giving us the luxury of doing this Schmodown thing.
Like, and that's why people were getting on Bibbs this week for his comments during his match with Ben. He called Ben a bully, and it's like, no. And Christian even said Christian did it. SEN today by himself and touched on some things. And that whole situation, he's like, I talked to Bibbs. I'm like, you shouldn't have called that bullying because he's just playing his character. People started taking shots at Ben and Bibbs. Some people on the side of Bibbs, some people on the side of Ben. It's like, yo, this is just character work. Like he's not being himself. He's being his character.
And people take that and run with it. Like if someone who wasn't familiar with the Schmodown comes in and watches that match, who's the boss versus Shazam, and they hear like, hey, dude, like you're being a bully, you're being a jerk. It's like, yo, like that reflects the whole league. Granted, I know it's a hiccup. I know like, and Ben and Bibbs, especially on the Action Guys. I don't want to talk about this match yet, but on the Action Guys, Ben definitely had his 2 cents in regards to what Bibiani said. But it's all this nasty and toxic comments and behavior. It's still going to be around. People are still going to, say their 2 cents about certain competitors or why certain people are competing in the Schmodown. But who cares? Like the guy last week that was like, I could do better than you, Sabrina. I did better than you and Vinny. It's like, that's great. Awesome. Good for you. But who cares? Like, I don't care. No one else cares. You're the one that cares.
Like, how many times have we been talking about how we've played along with the match, and it's like, oh, I did better. And we don't go out on social media and message the competitor that. It's just,
I'm not trying to flex on anybody.
Right.
What the hell?
It's like among your friends, how'd you do? I did pretty good. I actually beat both competitors. Cool. That's how that should be handled, not going at the actual competitor because you're jealous of the situation that they're in. Hey, dude, guess what? She's there because she deserves to be there. She's shown her knowledge, whether it be SEN, whether it be First Cut. It's like she knows what she's talking about. Pulling out movie trivia knowledge and facts out of your ass in a matter of 15 seconds is not the easiest thing to do, especially the first. So
for this being her real, like, she's been around SEN. She's been on Schmodown Entertainment Network, like on
the last
SEN Live.
5-6 months.
Yeah, she's no stranger to what to the SEN community, but it's her first match, having a relatively strong performance, and like you said, we play along too. We play along. I play along with every match I get the chance to, and sometimes I may score better than the competitor, but screw me, I am the worst sometimes, and you will never catch me hitting up whoever the hell is competing. Like, I did better than you, because who cares? They don't care. Yeah. And don't come at their character for them winning or losing. Seriously, and this it's not even just like it's not even just the women, and the women see it a lot because of circumstances, but it's everyone in the league. Everyone gets flack from certain fans, certain parts of the fandom, and it's gross because you're making everybody else look bad in the process. Everyone
Exactly.
looks bad. No one comes out of this looking like a winner, no matter how confident some people can be in regards to their performance from watching at home, and and I'm not participating in a tournament facing off against someone that like a Mark Draco. Oh my god, if I got to play Mark Draco in movie trivia, I'd be
Scared
shaking
too.
in my boots in front of Christian and Marco, whoever's on the table, and it counts in the singles tournament with the ramifications that are going on right now. Man, I'd be sweating through my shirt. And Sabrina came in there like a bull through the china shop and just this close to winning,
Yeah,
and she somehow gets flack. Somehow.
it's just one of those things. Were we missing each other? Oh man, she lost. Dang, didn't expect that. Oh well, but why would you like? We get it. She lost. It's all that. It's all that needs to be said about the situation. You
Exactly.
don't
Like
reach
she
out to a
knows. She
competitor.
knows what's up.
Like she knows she lost. She doesn't need people rubbing it in her face. She doesn't need people saying, "Hey, I'm better than you." Because guess what? I guarantee you. Let's give her 5 more matches. Guarantee you probably wouldn't beat her in half of them.
Exactly. Like no one understands the situation like a Schmodown unless you're a competitor in the Schmodown and you see these things. Like, and I guarantee Sabrina would have done better than me in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know she would have. So people are just giving her flack, and then it stems back to what people are saying about who's the boss, and we'll get to the match in a second. So it's disheartening, and it upsets me as a fan to see these type of things, and of course, like I know I was saying my piece about it when it was happening, because like who it doesn't matter, man. But that match with Vinny and Sabrina was great. It was another great installment in these singles matches, in the singles tournament matches we've been getting the last couple of weeks, and it was solid. I just hate that the match was clouded by certain people's words and actions.
Agreed.
It's dumb, and and I know for a fact Sabrina will be back at some point. At least she should.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this wasn't too disheartening.
But as a member of a different faction, who knows? Because her season's done.
Yes, unfortunately, the season's done.
But I will be there for any match, like I am for every showdown or Schmodown competitor. I'm there for every match possible, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and she's gonna kick ass with whoever she's on, whether it's the Finstock Exchange or any other faction. She's gonna be fine. But wow, I said we didn't want to talk about it, and we talked about it for 10 minutes. But it's
it's one of those.
It's important.
It is important, and that's what it boils down to. It's like if it wasn't important, we wouldn't be as angry about it as we are. And
yeah, and I know, like,
what it is.
and I feel so bad for my Twitter followers because I've been spamming the Schmodown like crazy the last few days, because I've come to the conclusion, I'm like, yo, I know maybe like 5 people that follow me really follow the Schmodown like I do.
Right, and so I'm probably one of them.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is really for them. Like, I'm tweeting this for them. But at the same time, man, I don't think I told you about this. Before we move on to Brendan Meyer and Alfonso Duralde, I started when I was watching the Schmodown when I was in college. This was 2016 when I got there. My roommate at the time was one of my best friends from back home, and he had no idea what the hell it was.
You and I probably got into it around the same time. Then I got into it around 2016 with the Sam Witwer's Freddie Prinze Star Wars match.
Well, I had been watching Schmoes since the Popcorn Talk live show. So I want to say season 5.
Oh, wow.
Of Schmoes. So I've been watching it since the jump. But when I was in college, I was with my roommate, my friend John, and he had no idea what the hell the Schmodown was. So I'd always be watching the matches at my bed with this TV, this old TV, and he's like, "Yo, what is this?" And I got him to watch every single week, and recently, since I've been talking about it, plugging this show, talking about it, spamming it on my Twitter, he's like, dude, like you make it sound like it's this, like how my excitement, our excitement for this thing is spreading to other people. And he hit me. He's like, yeah, man, like, do I have to jump back into the Schmodown thing? And I said, John, if you're
It's
gonna
the
start,
perfect time.
this singles tournament is the best way to start.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be introduced to so many new people, and we'll even give you. I told him like me and Matt will give you a rundown of what you need to know, and then we'll talk later. But and especially with Jericho Smith this week,
I can't wait.
It'd be a great way for him to like get that shot of adrenaline to the arm.
Exactly.
And like but that happened, and like that's the part. That's the exciting part. Although there's a lot of negative stuff going around, it's so exciting getting to introduce people to the Schmodown. It's so exciting. I know, like you got to do it a couple times, or you've been a part of people finding the Schmodown and really watching
reintroducing Nick, because Nick's started to jump fully back into it. Like I told you before, he was match here and there. Almost every pay-per-view now. Yo, am I coming over? Are you working the night shift, or you like we were talking about the kids match? He's like, dude, the kid, man. And then he was talking about how excited he was for Tom's match, just based off of the one team tournament match he saw with Tom. Yeah. So it's just like, hey, let's go.
Exactly. Like if you're gonna jump in, like really get reacclimated with the Schmodown, like this is it. Like this is the perfect time to do so, especially with the online format set up. It's pretty decent, and then you go back to the studio stuff. Oh man, and that's a whole different ball game. But I'm glad you mentioned the kids. So let's talk about the kids match with Alfonso Duralde.
That's what we
say that one more time for me.
I said that's what we call a
segue.
There we go.
I like being King Segue. If I can be King Segue when I can, I'm definitely gonna do it. But I'm gonna pull up my notes because guys, I'm actually taking notes on these matches. Like it's we're over here. We're stepping up our game at Spin from the Real. How about that?
Yes, sir.
Look, the first thing I want to say about this match against Duralde and Meyer.
I got one thing to say.
Oh, go ahead.
Duralde proved he belongs to me. He showed he's an all-around player.
Like I always thought, and this is the point I was going to mention, but I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't think Duralde was like the bomb. Like I never. He's been hyped up to be that, and I'd seen him in matches where he did well, but like the thing that sunk him was a pretty deep cut animated or Disney question. So like it is what it is. So the one thing I want to mention about the kid though that isn't about the match, them actually answering questions. This man is on 10 when he's in front of a camera answering movie questions. And you saw it again with the Shazam Who's the Boss match. He's like up and he's giddy and he's like excited to be there. And the kid's like, he was a big deal when he showed up. It's like, oh man, like Brendan Meyer's here. Oh my God. And the first thing I put down in my notes, I said the kid was tripping the whole time. he was up and he was active, and him and Koi had a great rapport bouncing back and forth to each other. But oh my gosh, like the match was great between the two of them, and it came down to the 3.3 round or third round questions. But the kid really proved, like at least to me, I'm like, yo, like you can. Like the kid is damn near top tier.
Yes, the kid. It's strange to me how meteoric I shouldn't say strange. It's amazing to me his meteoric rise, because we got an iffy, just really iffy first match, and then he's out, and then the free for all comes, and he's up there for what was it like?
It was a while.
Like. And you're just like, everybody's like, who is this kid? And as Christian has always said, the free-for-all can make or break stars. And it made him a star because after that, hey, people want to see you. You got another match coming. And we're getting Bibbs and Whitney isn't really working. We're going to break them up. Let's team up with Bibbs and build that up because you two seem to have this great rapport. Yeah. And now we have Shazam, who has a shot at the title. Spoilers, but we'll get into that soon. We'll get into that. It's just like this kid is just on his way to the top, and you can't stop.
And I know the triple threat at the live event earlier this year really didn't do him any justice. It didn't do Shazam as a team any justice.
No, and Koi realizes like I shouldn't have done that, and he's right.
And I don't want to give Koi too much flack because only with what we saw today in the match with Perry and Mike, but really in the Shazam and the Kid Solo match, like, damn, like I love Koi as a manager. I really hope he sticks around and he's not the on the chopping block when the season ends. Cause I really want to see Koi do more. I really do.
I think he's safe now after last week's match, the kids singles match,
and Shazam. Shazam
and
both Bibbs and Meyer are gonna rack up some points for my boy.
And the Tim Franco match, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was more than happy with the match between Alfonso and Brendan. It was a kick-ass match, man. It ruled. I was so happy with Alfonso. Like, yeah, like you said, like he proved that if he's not S tier, he's definitely A or B tier.
Right.
Especially when it comes to Schmodown competitors. But Brendan, he's A tier right now. I would love to see Meyer versus Merle, Meyer versus Roca, and just see what's up. I want to see that. That's a match I would love to see. Eventually.
I mean, let's bring up the tournament again. I think that's actually very possible. Yeah, if the kid beats Jericho and Roca beats Adam Collins and then Lon, we could see a kid versus Roca match, and I'd lose my mind.
That'd be a pretty kick ass. I want to say it's in the Elite 8 once we get there.
Yeah, that would be an Elite 8.
So that's pretty. What a.
I mean, we both had him getting past Jericho.
Yes.
So we had him getting to the Elite 8. So hey, right now that's on track. Other parts of the bracket, not so much, but right now, it's on track.
And I remember when we did the bracket on the show a few weeks ago, or probably a month ago at this point.
Yeah.
We little did we know that literally everyone was going to bring their game. And if they didn't, the other competitor got the same memo, but they were on the same plane. Like, the only real match that was like leaning towards one direction was Lon and Sabina. So I literally am on the edge of my seat every single week or every single match watching these things because they're rough. At least these tournament matches, I should say, because they're rough to get through. Because I'm like, my anxiety is going crazy on these matches because who's going to answer their 5? Who's going to get to what's the wheel spin going to be? And I was really feeling that, especially with Meyer and Alfonso. I thought Duralde was going to win. I really did think so.
Yeah, especially in that last one. Like, that was a match that went down to the wire.
Like, the second round spins and like the kid with the Aubrey Hepburn
pull
wheel. Like, dude, okay, I want to ask you about that real fast because I don't think we talked about this.
No, we haven't.
The challenge that was in the second round with I forget the film, but it was in regards to it was the, pardon my French if this is crude, but it's the lesbians challenge.
Yeah,
because it was like, what does
the
kid's character like say to people that run the school? It's like,
what did they find out? What does she find out about the nuns? About something like that? Yeah,
something in that vein. And he had said like, they're dating or they're whatever.
Yeah.
But in the multiple choice said lesbians. I'm like, like that's.
I'm like, you could tell he was probably trying to be politically correct and not try to ruffle any feathers because that's the kid's personalities. Yeah, because that's the kid's personality. He probably was like, because I don't want to get ruffle anyone's feathers. He's like, let's go. That they're in a relationship. Well, those two nuns were lesbians. Same difference to me. I would have just given them the point.
I would have totally just given him the 2, but that's just, I would have loved to know who deliberated on that.
Yeah.
Because obviously we don't know with who's backstage or who's the third party in this, at least in the judging portion.
Right.
But I was thinking like, man, like the kid handled it way better than I would have. I would have challenged the challenge.
The kid handled it better than Connor would have.
Yeah, that too. So like it was a toughie for me. I understand like they wanted a specific terminology for it, and the kid just wasn't giving it to him. But
Yeah.
I was just like, like these challenges have been real fun this tournament, and little did I know it was going to stem into the next day. So
wait, it's oh yeah. I know what you mean.
So I was stunned at how at the like they seem like we wanted certain terminology, but then the kid was like, all right, cool, yeah, like that's fine. Because at one point, like it's 1 point, but those points mean something, especially like in this game that is being played, and might as well just jump into Friday. What happened on Friday night?
Yes,
The game that is being played is top tier.
Mm-hmm.
Points matter. Every single point you get matters. And if the kid proves anything to me, that's
Chris,
what it is.
Chris, I want to do this with you from now on. So from now on, throughout the rest of our time on this show, when we make predictions, I want to keep a scoreboard between us.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And to see by the end of each season who won technically.
There's a butt ton of singles tournament left and a teams tournament.
I know, we can still do it. That's why I'm bringing it up.
We can definitely start. But I'm so glad we're starting after this Friday because, boy, I was on the plane. I was on the plane when this was happening.
You got off the plane and saw my text. You're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, like you were you were sending me some updates about the Who's the Boss match specifically, and then I got a chance to watch the Founding Fathers match. So I was stunned to say to be frank, because wow, talk about level of play. Having to bring your A game at any point in time, because Who's the Boss, a team we both adore, with two of the best players that Schmoedown has ever seen, and especially two players that attend, and a guy that runs, well, one player that attends, and the other guy that runs the Ben Bateman School of Schmoedown studying, they got knocked out by Shazam.
Yeah.
A team that we thought was going to take the L to Who's the Boss. And we said that in confidence. And even after Shazam's performance, if I had Crow around me, I would eat it.
Yeah. Wasn't a good look. Wasn't a good look.
So to anyone from the Schmoedown that may be watching or may be listening, I apologize because I'm dumb. Like, I obviously don't know what I'm talking about, because I remember I said, like, it can go either way. I believe that's what I said. Don't quote me.
Yep, you did. But we both said that, but we both had faith that Who's the Boss was gonna just,
because like that's just like that's our team, bro. Like we said, I just hurt myself. That's what I get for not believing in Shazam. Because after watching Shazam's performance against Final Exam, wow, one of Final Exam, I didn't realize they rhymed. But now watching that against Who's the Boss, I'm like, yo, I felt so bad for Ben and Mark. I felt so bad because I guarantee that's obviously not the performance you want to bring,
right?
But to be a highly touted team in a highly touted faction, and to have that type of performance against two other competitors who are great, like we said, but no one wants to get knocked out. No one wakes up that day.
No one ever wants to go through what that was, and it's just like, damn. Especially when it's a team that's known for winning, like they win.
And I would love your 2 cents on the match, because you got to watch it as it was happening. I unfortunately
I got to watch the first match. We'll call it halfway watch,
because I was a few thousand feet in the air.
I was paying attention when I should have been working.
Oh no, I mean, like, it's all right. Your employer, I think they'll be okay. But the match, when it was going down, like, you were shooting me texts like, yo, Who's the Boss? They're struggling. And I'm like, what? How? like, how? It's Who's the Boss, man?
Right. And they couldn't. Riley was really struggling in that first round. Then Ben finally stumbled towards the end of the first round, and if I remember correctly, they spun opponents.
Yeah, they spun opponents.
And then it all went downhill. Like,
and I was listening to, like I said, I'm a big fan of the Action Guys on YouTube at the Action Industries channel, and there was no Andrew Guy this week, for reasons. He was caught up with the Schmoeminati, I think. But Riley and Dagnino were on, and just a quick thing before I talk about what they said. Apparently, Dagnino had some spoilies for this upcoming match this Friday.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it live, but I watched the replay, and there's an obvious cut where it was supposed to be at. I'm like, yo, like, so Tom's out here spoiling matches that haven't even happened yet, haven't even aired. But
well, it was one of the ones that's supposed to air this week.
It was the Action Civil War 2 spoilie.
Well, I mean, that's a live match though, so I don't know how would it.
Well, apparently he said something that was cut out of the show. I don't know what exactly was said, but he said something he wasn't supposed to say, whatever that was. At least that's what the Schmodown Reddit said to me. So, but you can just hear it in Bateman and Riley's voices. Like, the second they saw classics on the wheel, they thought to themselves,
"Oh shit!
If we spin opponents, we're getting classics. It's as simple as that." And guess what? That's exactly what they got. And Benny even said on the Schmodown preview show with Jen and Brad that I will now call Boats and Schmoes, as Brad Gilmore would like to refer to it. I heard that he said, well, I didn't hear it. I watched him say, the second we got done answering the second question, I knew this was gonna, it was, the wheels are coming off. Like this, it's like this ship's gonna crash, and they crashed. They definitely crashed and burned. It's upsetting because they're a highly touted team, like I said, on a highly touted faction, and especially going into this team tournament. At least before Friday, Dagnino probably had zero idea what team he was going to put in the tournament. Zero.
And let's be honest, he hasn't said anything yet, but we all probably know it's Founding Fathers.
It's the worst kept secret in the Schmodown as of right now.
Because Ben and Riley have already said, yeah, we're not the team. And Gucci straight up.
Ben explicitly said, like, yeah, I want to say he explicitly said that the Founding Fathers were the team, or at least he insinuated it.
Yeah, he
spoiler alert for the outcome of the
title match. But like, they even, like, you could tell after that title match, it was like, yeah, Founding Fathers are going in. It's because, and I sent you Dan's promo for after that match.
I couldn't watch the promo. I had to end the second the match, and I heard, and you're a winner, and new. I had to cut the.
Yeah, because you just got home, correct?
Yeah, I had to. I was getting, my ride had just picked me up, so I was like, yes, and then I got him. But to wrap up on Who's the Boss, where we talk about Founding Fathers and corruption. I mean, everyone has a bad day. Every single person has a bad day. And Ben has been vocal about how much he does not like the team setup for the Schmodown in this new format that we're rocking with for right now.
He doesn't like anything about the digital format, basically.
So he's still vocal about it. He still doesn't like it. I mean, trust me, like, I'm right there. I understand his POV, and I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I understand it, and I don't know if or why these changes haven't been made. The team's format, at least for what we've seen, has been successful. But for whatever reason, Who's the Boss, just they couldn't adapt, and it's been a while, even though we both said, like, Rust doesn't matter. I guarantee if they spun a different category, the outcome of the match maybe would have been different, but who knows? It was rough, and especially with them using their 3 repeats in the first round, people were like, yo, that's dumb. Or like, oh, it's actually, like, if they needed it, because in those 3-round matches, like, no one uses the repeats till the end. Realistically,
you're right.
So using them in the first round, if you need them, cool. But it set a precedent because no one does that. No one ever does the 3 repeats in the first round. So I guarantee they're already getting in their own heads by their own performance, and then Shazam giving them classics did not help them in the slightest.
No, it didn't. And Shazam, if I remember correctly, Shazam spun they might have gotten spinach, or they spun something that was a strength of theirs. So maybe it was Oscars.
I want to say it was Oscars.
Yeah.
Don't quote me.
And you're staring, and like the moment you hear what they spin, you're like, and this one's over.
Yeah, and I guarantee, and I mean, Ben had said, like, yeah, after that second question that they had answered, they knew it was done.
Yeah.
And like that's discouraging to hear. Like that no one likes to hear, like, yeah, dude, like we knew it was bad. So I mean, Who's the Boss?
They'll be back.
Is the season over?
Is that are they as a team over? Riley's
That's
basically
another thing, dude.
Riley's basically come out and said he's like, I'm going back to the Finstock Exchange. He talked about it on SEN Live at some point last week when it was on. He's like, somebody asked him, or maybe it was backstage, but anyways, he's like, somebody asked him, are you going back to? He's like, as of right now, yeah. Why wouldn't I? We have the belts. They have played well. It's just a matter of if I'm picked. It's like, is Dagnino gonna pick me? Like, he basically is like, I know I'm not Roca, I'm not Dan, I'm not Ben, but is Dagnino gonna pick me in that 4th round? Is he gonna pick me in that 5th round? Because if I'm gonna be honest, right now in my eyes, as much as I love Riley, I would pick the Barbarian before I picked Riley. And I think that's just because the Barbarian has shown he's a multi-league player, and he performs well. Like it's just Riley has really been hiccupy lately, and maybe it's the wheels are starting to come off a little bit,
so
or starting to show their tread more. If I should, is another way to put it.
That was the topic of the conversation, and at least in regards to who's the boss, was what was the future of the team? Because now at least their season looks to be over, at least as a team. Ben still has the match this Friday, but and Riley's still in the tournament. But as a team, they're done for the season. And if it goes the way I think it is, they might be done for a while, for a long while. So what you're trying to tell me is that Riley said like Finstock Exchange or bust, at least in regards free agency
for him.
Or going into
he's saying that's for him, just him though. He's like, that's just for me. That's just, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, it's the Finstock Exchange or nothing.
Tom, I feel so bad for Tom Tom Dagnino, because he's gonna have such a hard time taking 3, and especially after that Founding Fathers corruption tag title match.
Oh, you saw my text messages after when the post match interview started.
You said to me that Dan Murrell had cut the greatest promo.
Oh, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the corruption one. Because we're talking about the Finstock Exchange.
The light bulb just went off my head. Yeah, but before we get to the post game stuff, the match itself. Chance Ellison is one of the best players in the Schmoedown. You can't tell me
one of the greatest matches of all time. He's finally won me over as a talented player. I shouldn't say.
Come off the bandwagon. I'll make room here. I'll make some room for you, bro.
Hold on. I've never denied his talent, I should say, but it's a matter of I've always rooted against him. And I'm not gonna root against him, but I'm not gonna root for him. If he wins, I'm just gonna be like, good job, Chance. It's just not one of my. It's not one of my favorite characters. It is what it is.
I understand. And I had mentioned on the show before, when Chance first showed up, I wasn't the biggest fan of him. So, I totally get it. But corruption really brought a breath of fresh air in the Chance. And to this day, Chance Ellison performed the best out of all 4 of them, and that included company as Merle, Roca, Kalinowski. 3 of the best to ever do it in the Schmoedown in any league. And you're telling me that Chance Ellison, Mike was struggling. The first round, Mike struggled a little bit, especially in regards to the talent that they were stacked up against. Mike didn't do the best, but Chance, especially pulling questions out of his bum, especially that 5-pointer.
He didn't pull it out of his bum. He admitted that yesterday on backstage. He's like, "Yeah, I knew it. I was just playing it out."
But still, he still did the damn thing.
Yes, he did.
Chance Ellison was the star of that match. And I'm so glad that I got to watch it while it was happening, because I was tripping. And I said in the show last week, I'm like, Founding Fathers, because the last 2 performances of Merle and Roca, they were stellar, some of the best we've ever seen. But that 4th round, the new format for the 4th round is it sunk the Founding Fathers.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't I couldn't fathom as it was happening.
My thing, as I was watching that, I'm sitting there, I'm like, how is Dan missing? Like, they were both missing questions, like Zombieland. I was like, wow, I did not see. I think that was a Roka question. I'm like, I did not see Roka missing Zombieland coming.
It was a 4-point swing because Corruption had gotten 9 and the Founding Fathers got 5 as collective.
So they got 6. They got 6 collective.
6 as a group, as a duo, but
they missed 2 and passed on 2, where Corruption only passed on 1. So that's where the big swing comes in, because then the Founding Father points.
It was. This match was so good, Matt. Oh my god!
I know.
These past couple weeks, like, these matches have been killer, and watching Corruption do what they did on Friday. Like, cause and you said on the show before, like, Corruption as a faction, like, they have Mike, Chance, Laura, and that's it. And the last couple weeks have proved
Adam Collins. Yeah, I was like, well, I don't know, I can't. But I would always say I can't speak on these rookies. I could not speak on the rookies. I did always say
Marisol, like, she's a stud. Adam's a stud. And now they have the tag team champions in this faction. Yeah. I can't agree with this any more than I like. It's Chance is probably the best. Dude, remember I told you that Chance had a shot at being triple belted by the end of the year?
Yeah.
And you said, ha, you laughed at me.
Yeah,
I want to say you laughed at me.
I did.
This man could truly
be triple
belted by the end of the year. Imagine Chance competing 3 times at Spectacular.
Hold on. But guess what? Shazam's coming away with that belt next time. Just saying.
Yo, okay. Mike has to do some homework. Mike. Okay, that's another thing. The second round, they spun it with Angela Bassett.
I will say this: Mike truly has become the secondary player when it comes to Corruption. He is the 2A player, not the 1A. And I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm not going to go into spoilers for today's match, but I think it only backs that up a little bit.
It's man, I don't want to say that because I love Mike so much.
Notice I didn't call him 2B or 2C. I'm just saying, Chance is the one who's gonna bring you the win now. It's because Mike's so like.
For my own sake, let's just say Chance is 1A, Mike's 1B. Can we say that?
I said 1A and 2A.
2A. You said 2A. I don't want to.
2A is better than 1B.
Depends on who you ask. But Mike needs to do his homework, especially going up against Shazam, because Shazam proved they're no slouch. And even after the last couple weeks, probably just showed that Shazam's the scariest team in this whole damn thing. Especially after watching the Founding Fathers do their thing, and like they stumbled a bit. 2 of the greatest, arguably the 2 greatest, stumbled. And Shazam, they're cutthroat. Like they came up to Who's the Boss and showed him what's up.
No jokes.
So at Spectacular, or whenever we get the team title match, I will be on the edge of my seat watching Corruption v Shazam, only because I want to see what Mike does. We've seen what Meyer did. We saw what Bibbs did. We saw what Chance did. Mike was the one that was slacking behind just a little bit. Mike has to do his homework. He does. And if that means going to the Corruption School of Schmodown studying, then okay, cool. But I need Chance to share some of that wisdom with Mike and just do the damn thing. But Chance, on God, as my man said in the Facebook chat, he is the baddest. Can you pull up the tournament for me one more time?
Yeah, no problem.
The singles tournament?
Hey, you have the ability to do this. Why you got to ask me?
Because I see on the computer, so I'm real expressive with my hands. But look, where my main Chance at? David Del Rio, LOL. That match is this Thursday, or tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that match. But my lord, Chance is ridiculous. So Shandru, I know they're already talking it up.
What all matches do we have left? did Liz Shannon Miller Silver Strini air yet?
No.
So we got
No?
no, I don't think it has. So we got Silver Strini Miller, Barbarian Cybold, Bibbs versus James White, Miki Oyama, Snyder Montano, Riley Video Drew, and then the entire, and then Irwin versus
and Irwin, yeah.
Mancuso. So shit, we still got at least another week or two of this 4 matches a week going on, man. Like, this is a beautiful time to be a fan in this league.
Yo, so now that we got the match out of the way, and Chance is the baddest player, straight up, like my man said. The post match, because you were over the moon, and like I said, I couldn't watch the post match. You had to tell me what happened, and you sent me certain people's promos. But Matt, I want your 2 cents, because first of all, apparently one thing happened before another, and I want your 2 cents. Just so tell me what the hell happened after Corruption v Founding Fathers team title match.
I'll say this. First, it starts off. So Christian had them start off the post match together, all the teams on there, both teams, because of the history. This is what, their 4th time playing each other.
Yes.
So it's just like no other teams have done that. It's just crazy. You got to show respect to each other. So then you have Shannon after she's like, "Oh no, this rivalry's done. This, that, and the other," and you're just like, wait, what? And Mike's like, the reason I stayed silent these past few weeks leading up to this match is because I knew if I didn't, I'd light a fire under Roka's ass, and that's what would kill me. And he's like, when you have a Roka with a fire under his ass, that's what kills you. He's like, that's what happened when we lost the belts. He's like, you can't light a fire under Roka's ass. Which, they're right. You can't, because that can literally sink you.
It's scary as hell.
Yeah, and then Shannon made an even bigger mistake. Or not Shannon. Yeah, Shannon made an even bigger mistake, and she decided to say that this rivalry is over. This is no longer a rivalry, this, that, and the other. And she lit a fire under Dan Murrell's ass to where I might go out to say this was the best. This might be the best promo ever cut in my eyes for the Schmodown, because
ever
for it was raw, it was in the moment, and it was nothing but passion.
I mean, it was pretty damn kick-ass.
Like, and it came from a guy who rarely ever gives the greatest and best promos.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in awe. Like, my jaw dropped. I was like, yo, Dan just dropped his best promo ever. And I sent that to you and Nick. And Nick's like, I love that, man. But
when you sent me that damn promo, I was tripping, because I'm like, yo, what? Like Dan cut a raw ass promo like that? Like, why? Like, who crossed him? Like what? And John Roca, like, really the promo flakes are just rubbing off onto Dan. And I watched it, I'm like, yo, like, this ends a spectacular, baby. Like, that's
like, you see that he wrote it. He's like, this ends that spectacular. I'm like, hell yeah, it ends a spectacular.
Like, the reel's gonna get knocked clean. It's not even funny, but it's at least, I mean, don't take my prediction for granted. Yeah. Don't take my word for it, because I'm done.
Chris has horrible.
I'm horrific. So, but nah, this ends a spectacular. I'm like, yo, this is coming from Dan Murrell. If anyone's cutting this promo, like, I'm like, oh, who cut that? Like, Roca? Who cut that? Snyder? Who cut that? Ben? Andrew? Who cut that? Dan
Murrell?
Remember I said last week, what's Dan's new nickname? Damn! Damn, Dan! Damn! That was my response. Damn, Dan Murrell. Holy God. Man, got me shook. Damn. Like, I couldn't fathom it. And when you said to me, especially what happened next, after freaking, like you sent me that, and then you said,
you're about to get a really pissed off Matt. I'm just gonna warn you right now.
And I'm like, yo, you sent to me. Corruption just actively recruited John Roca.
How the fuck you gonna actively recruit in the middle of a goddamn match? Right
The
after
match is over. The match is over.
Like right after they lose. How?
It's a flex. That's why it's a flex.
I don't know.
They're flexing on the freaking founding fathers.
And then Kalinowski jumps in and he's like, Roca and I have been friends for years. I'm like, I don't give a. You think he's gonna leave the GOAT for y'all? Y'all are nuts.
Look, dude, yo,
Like,
if I'm Roca, I'm thinking about it. How can you not think about it?
No.
It's a thought. Granted. The first thing I thought when you sent me that was, yo, like Laura Kelly, which is like she's chopped liver. Like what the hell? Like, well, because obviously it'd be Roca a chance. And
Roca's basically said, I'm rocking with Dan. I'm gonna go where my boy goes. That's my brother
now. And we've said on the show before, there's so much season left. Founding Fathers could get outed in the tournament if that's the case, if Founding Fathers goes in. And if they get outed, what's next?
Roca retires. He's teased at that.
Yo, Roca, no, dude. Roca can't retire. Christian won't let him.
Let's be honest. He'd be like, Christian be like, let's do a 6-month retirement. And then have you come back for the free agency special. I think if Roca were to retire, because of how this year's ended. Because remember, when he lost to Ethan, he's like, what if we lose the belts? What if this? What if I flame out in the tournament? He's like, if the year goes south, actually yes, we'll be talking about Smith.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about Smith and Jericho like right after this match.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, oh no. Like, I think there's a better chance Roca retires before he just straight up leaves Dan in the dust to go to another faction. That's my statement.
Something crazy is going to happen at the end of this year. One thing like that will rattle the league. Roca joining Corruption might be it.
I would literally just. To me, that'd be like LeBron leaving Cleveland, and he did.
Cleveland. And he did.
No, I'm talking about the first time. Like, I'm from Cleveland. I wasn't burning his jersey. I still have my old LeBron jersey. It's a red hardwood classic with some gold writing, and it's beautiful. But that would be the equivalent for me. I'd be like, nah. And I'll say this: the first year he was in Miami, I've openly rooted against him.
Oh man!
Then you
got your feelings.
Yeah. Year 2, it was back and forth, but I respected the man for getting his ring. Dude. And then year 3 and 4, I was like, "Go LeBron, you do your thing." But you got to remember, for me as a Clevelander, that was also more so how he did it. Like, you dumped us on national television. I wouldn't have cared if you had just dumped us. You dumped us on national television.
And that's how Roca can do it. He can just jump into the free agency special and say like I'm taking my talents to Corruption, and then the world explodes. The Schmodown Facebook page, nuts.
So so we are actually talking about something we consider a sport, which you can go watch on YouTube. The movie Trivia Schmodown. If you don't watch it, it's a great sport. Actually, it is a sport. People want to say it's not, but it's a sport of the mind, and it's basically UFC meets wrestling and movie trivia, and it's a really fun time. And we're talking. This is Spin from the Real is our reaction show to it. So what's gone on in this league the past week, and previewing what's happening this upcoming week and going forward. So.
And if you just jumped in, but if you know the Schmodown and you're just questioning why we're talking about LeBron James, I mean, Matt's in Cleveland. Yeah. So it's inevitable.
My Cavs championship hat right here. I just had to make the comparison for.
And it's a solid comparison, because what John Roca is doing with the FinStock exchange, if he were to bounce at because Christian said like this free agency special, we're gonna be finding out who's signing with who,
and then who's gonna end up in the draft.
Yes. So if Roca's like,
he also confirmed today. Today is a snake draft. He confirmed today in his
snake draft, baby.
Instead of being last year when you had one, you have one the next round. We're getting a snake draft, so it's a little bit more balanced. I appreciate that.
So
If you'd like the
Yeah.
link, I can link you to I will post a link to their YouTube in the chat so you can check it out. It's actually a really cool thing. I'll post a link.
If you like movies, in any way, shape, or form, or if you're like professional wrestling, this is a great medium between the two. This is actually the perfect medium between the two. So if you like pro wrestling in any way, shape, or form, or if you like movies in any way, shape, or form, it's the perfect bridge.
And
with the theatrics of professional wrestling.
And right now is the perfect time to jump in because we just started the singles tournament about 2 weeks ago. So I'm gonna link you to the MTS Season 7 YouTube page, and yeah.
So I mean, technically right now it's an esport because everything's online, but it's usually held in the studio. So, but to finish up the John Roca thing, John Roca leaving the Finstock Exchange and leaving Dan would be freaking nuts. And if I'm Roca, come on, you've been thinking about it. Like you have to be like, is it Finstock Exchange or is it Swag? Is it Corruption? The Dungeon?
You've heard what I've said. It's Finstock Exchange or Swag, and I'll ride with that to the death. Because Winston has actively been on SCN. Like, I can respect it if it's on SCN or another show, but she did like after a match. That's what upset me.
Yeah, but dude, it was such a flex. Come on, like, I mean, this is coming from a professional wrestling fan that's seen things like that before. It's like, oh hey, you just lost, come join us. I've seen that 1,000 times, and I love it every single time because it's gonna flesh out Roka's character even more. Like, I don't know what he said in response. I don't think he openly denied it, but I mean, the offer's on the table. The offer's on the table, and as long as there's season left, the offer will continue to be on the table. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Roka's thinking about it. He is 1,000%.
Yeah, I'm Swag. I think Swag and Corruption are in those positions to where they want him so bad, but they don't have, like, who would they have to screw over to get him? And he's kind of made it clear. He's like, I would probably bring Dan with me before anything else.
I mean, who's gonna say no to Dan Murrow?
And that's my point. Like, it's like, okay, like Winston made a joke like, John's not gonna come to me. He called me tomorrow and say drop him on. I'd be like, damn it.
That's on, dude. I'm telling you, if to screw over the least amount of people, like, the Dungeon seems just like a perfect fit. But
I'm sorry, but who wants to rock with Kaiser? I'm sorry, he's a one-season wonder.
Blasphemous! How dare you?
Blasphemous. Hold on.
I don't want to hear any John Kaiser slander. Not in this show. Not with Chris Anthony Lopez here. Look, so all I'm going to say, I want to talk about these other two matches we got the last couple of days before we jump into Friday. But this past weekend's live event, or not live event, the pay-per-view was nuts for a variety of different reasons. The matches may not have been the best, at least in regards to the undercard, but it was extremely telling in regards to the future of all four of the teams involved. Major steps were taken in drastically different directions.
Yes.
And I was shook. And I did not envy Tom Dagnino at all. I don't envy John Roca for the position that he's in. I mean, going into the singles tournament, do your best, my man. I know you will. And Shazam against Corruption, can't wait to see it. Yeah, so Monday, we got Jericho v Achity.
And then Draco murdered him. I didn't murder. He didn't
murder him.
It wasn't like it would have been worse if Mark had a better second round. That's all I can say about it.
Mark kind of stumbled through the second round, which is fine. But, Mark and Draco, it's the first time we've seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
What the hell has the Odd Couple been? Where? I don't remember the last time I've seen either one of these men compete. I don't remember.
Was it
Granted,
the
my
tournament
memory is the
last
worst.
year?
No way.
Because I don't think they've played yet this year. I'm gonna go back to their page and check, or to the playlist and check, but I don't think they've played.
Because when I saw Draco on Monday, I'm like, yo, like
It's
I miss
been a
you,
while.
man. Yeah, like where have you been at? Unless I'm just tripping and I just don't remember.
Where you been at on tour getting money?
So I mean, my man advanced over Matt Atchity. I mean, that's well, I think that was the fan assumption was that Draco would move on because Draco has proven to be another A tier competitor. When my man is bringing it, he freaking brings it. So, like, he had a little stumble today. Granted, he could have been adjusting to the new format, or the questions could have just not been in his favor. But hey,
So
please give me more Mark.
the last time we saw them play was, it looks like, back in April 3rd of this year when they played Who's the Boss for the spot to go into the number one contenders match.
Oh yeah, that was in April.
Well, technically that was filmed probably like February, beginning of March. But
Damn, so it's been a while for them.
yeah,
because I see Jeff Snyder on the Facebook page. I'm like, dude, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things, man. And I'm glad to see Draco back because I love what Draco brings to the table. Really good competitor, just all around. Yes, give me more.
Like I love Mark, and like I mean Matt Atchity. We know what to expect out of Matt Atchity at this point,
which is knowledge and bad gameplay. Which he had good gameplay this time. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm. But he went against a guy like Mark Draco. Like so, yep. I'm down for more Mark. And he faces Brendan Meyer next, correct?
Yep.
That match
we may have to play along with that match or something because I cannot wait.
If we have to, because if we have to I don't want to start streaming every match because that's gonna get crazy. But no. it's gonna be a riot, and that's gonna be one of those once we get to the next round, that's gonna be one of the more anticipated matchups, at least in my opinion.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And especially now that we know what these competitors are bringing, like my God, I'm shook. And speaking into just these performances that we're getting, we got Tom versus Tim Franco yesterday, and Tom again. I had no idea who Tom was, the person. I didn't know who he was, and I still don't know who this man is. I don't know where he comes from. Because usually these people come from the Collider space or the movie YouTube space. This is just someone video
Drew brought with, and it's stuck.
I'm like, who is this dude? And why is he so damn good at movie trivia?
Yes.
I love this character that Tom has. It's been a while for Tim as well. I think a longer while for Tim. And I mean, Tim's good as hell too. And he proved that when he first showed up in the league. Especially when because he came with late to the party people, right?
Yes.
With Vanessa and Robert. So
yes, he did.
When Tim showed up, it was yo, because he beat Atchity, I believe, in his first match.
Yes.
So Tim's no slouch, but Tom is this man don't play. Tom's a boss, and now he's gonna advance. Tom's gonna keep being. Look, this man's a sleeper this whole damn tournament, especially in regards to the talent that's in it and the people that are bringing their A game. Tom's been bringing his A game. I just felt bad for Tim. He had to go against Tom first round.
Yeah, no,
I really felt bad.
I feel like if he played anyone else, he would have possibly gone on to the next round. It's just it's what the cards dealt you, man.
And the scores reflect that. So usually a performance like Tim's would advance, but not against Tom. Tom don't play, and we've said that from the jump. We've been saying that for weeks now. Tom's going to be a person that advances pretty far in this tournament, at least in regards to what we think and how we mapped it all out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Tom. And these past two matches have been like they're bringing back familiar faces, and I couldn't be any more. I couldn't be any happier. So
you and me both, man.
But in today's match, like you said, we're not going to get into today because that's for next week. We're going to save KO and
Perry
and Scary Perry. But briefly, before we preview the upcoming matches this weekend. Oh, actually, no, this kind of ties into this upcoming matches. So I watched the Boats and Schmoes with Jen and Brad, and they had at one point in the show they had Ben and Andrew. Just so I can.
So you got to watch this. I'm all ears right now because I didn't get to watch this. So
it was a lot of like Ben, like what happened with the Who's the Boss match, a lot of that. But I already got my fix of that with the Action Guys. I already heard Ben's POV. The interesting part of this match to me, or that segment of the show to me, was Andrew. Mind you, I didn't watch all of it, so I didn't get to come back and to see if Andrew had came back onto the show. But there was a little portion where Andrew Guy was there, and is my man okay? Because I know the Schmominati's been
on his man.
They've been on him, and this man is tripping. Matt, when I tell you, he was in the comfort of his own home with the hoodie on, he had the hood on and his sunglasses. He was tripping. Like everyone was worried about him, worried about my man. Like, what the hell is the Schmominati doing to him? Because we haven't heard much of that since Andrew's when he first revealed the Schmominati was a thing. We haven't heard too much. We've seen it. It's been heavily speculated what the Schmominati is, but we have no idea. And I guarantee we won't know until until the season ends. We probably won't find that. Probably won't find that out. So Andrew, he said a couple of things I want to highlight to you. So Matt, with no context, I want you to just react to these two quotes.
Okay, I'm just going to close my eyes and listen.
He said, "Whatever they want, I'll do. I'll do it. Whatever they want, I'll do it." In regards to beating Andrew or beating Ben, he said, "Whatever they want, I'll do it. Whatever they want." And then he quickly corrected himself and said, "Whatever the fans want, I'll do it." And it's like, wait a second. Who's they? Further emphasizing who the hell is they. Like I have theories. I don't want to make this a whole like who's the Schmominati thing.
I wonder if it's way to bring McQueenie back.
Ooh, if McQueenie's like the puppet, he's like Oz behind the curtain.
Yep.
Yo, I was thinking that the Schmominati is a little corrupt, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. And the other thing that he said, about possibly beating Ben this weekend, he said like, "Of course I want to live." And I'm like, what the hell is this man saying? And Brad and Jen are like, "What? You want to live?" He's like, "No, I want to win. I want to win." Yeah, that's what I said. I want to win. I want to win. Immediately correcting himself. Like, what? This dement or this something's dementing Andrew Guy, and I'm scared to see what happens this Friday, win or lose, for Andrew Guy. Because the Schmominati obviously has a clutch. They have a
right.
They have him by the neck. So what happens if he loses? Is this a must-win situation for Andrew Guy in regards to the higher power that is the Schmominati? I'm conflicted. I really am conflicted. I'm worried for my man. I really am worried for him. So with this upcoming match this Friday, one more so than the other is notoriously bad with predictions. But give me your 2 cents on this second match between Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman in solos.
Bateman for the win because Bateman's going to come in pissed. Bateman is already mad because he's even like, after this past weekend's match, I feel like I was a top 10 of all time player, and I might be after this. I might be outside that top 10 or barely clinging on to it. And he's right. Arguably, if you look at what he's done, he is arguably a top 10 of all time player.
Yep.
So having a rough week or stretch of matches isn't going to do him any favors, considering the last time we saw him, he lost the belt. Or, excuse me, last time we saw him in singles, he lost the belt.
Yes, Ben, even though I don't think he has to, he has something to prove, or at least he feels like he has something to prove. I don't necessarily think so. Like I said, everyone has a bad day. And I thought Who's the Boss as a collective had a bad day. Or really, the Finstock Exchange had a bad day this past Friday. But Ben, I think Ben's one of the best players to ever do it. And there's a great article by David Sackrider from Repeat the Question that is about Ben Bateman, and it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out on his Facebook or the Twitter page for Repeat the Question. But I'm like, like Ben's pretty damn good. He changed the way people need to study for the Schmodown. He's out here training some of the GOATs of the whole damn league. And he is the headmaster of the Ben Bateman School of Schmodown studying. Like, I say that for a reason. And I'm not about to change my mind about it just because Ben had one bad game. And he said this was the hardest loss that he's been a part of. And Team Action had some pretty tough L's during their run. And this past one was the toughest L he had taken in the Schmodown so far. And like you said, he's going to come in with a vengeance. But at the same time, Andrew Guy, you cannot take him lightly.
No, not at all.
He beat Dan Murrell. Regardless of what you say about Dan's mindset going into the match, he beat Dan. Followed by beating Riley. So, Andrew may not be like Murrell or Roca. He damn sure could be. And this match, especially with the Schmominati nipping at his heels, this can be Andrew Guy's coming out party. Especially with a conflicted and with a discouraged Ben Bateman, if he is discouraged after that Who's the Boss L. Since now we're keeping track of predictions on this show, I'm going to go with Ben, but by a narrow margin, this will not be a blowout. At least I don't think so.
I don't think it'll be it depends on the wheel.
It won't be Houston. It won't be Houston, I'll tell you that.
We don't know that for sure. You never know.
You're right, but I'm telling you, I don't think so. I have my gut feeling.
I don't think so either, but I'm just saying I'm not going to discount it for if it happens. Because how Andrew Guy's character's been, I'd love to see the guy freak out of it.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to be scared if Andrew loses. Something bad might happen to him. Like, I'm not even tripping. The Schmominati is nipping him in the bud, and he might, if this is his last match of the year, a man might not make it to the draft or to free agency.
What you saying there, Chris?
The Schmominati is terrifying. You should just go back and watch Boats and Schmoes. I promise you that the stuff that Andrew was saying, his mannerisms, what he was doing, he was scared. He was fearful. He had like a glimmer he had some confidence. Of course, Andrew Guy has confidence. That man oozes confidence. But he had some fear, some hesitancy. He was hesitant with some things. And just the way he worded some things and his inflection on certain words, I'm worried about him. I'm worried about Andrew, not because I think he's going to perform poorly, because I think that the Schmominati may not react so great if he comes on the losing end of that match. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Andrew's a bad competitor. I'm worrisome for him.
Fair enough.
But I mean, that is just the undercard. We are getting the biggest match in Schmodown history.
If I could rip off my shirt right now in celebration, I would.
This will be this is the celebrity match of all celebrity matches that we've gotten so far.
I mean, you have my idol versus your idol.
One of them. Yeah. That's
like, outside of Christian Harloff, my idol these past few years as I've been on this journey of self-discovery has been Kevin Smith. When I decided I wanted to go back to school, I wanted to pursue journalism, multimedia communications, it was because of Kevin Smith and Christian Harloff. So, like, to have this happen is like I'm still pinching myself, and to see that it's finally here, man. Like, can we have the match in black and white? Is that possible?
Can we have the match in black and white in a wrestling ring? Like that's the thing. Like, yo, so I was talking to I actually did an interview yesterday for my podcast. That's not this. And we were talking about professional wrestling at some point, and I was asked, who are my favorite wrestlers of all time? A quick list, just a couple. And my number 2 that I mentioned was Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho he was the first professional wrestler I hated because his character was the worst. He was calling the fans parasites, hypocrites. He's wearing suits to the ring. And I'm like, what? Who is this man? And why is he doing that to Rey Mysterio? So, and that was just 12-year-old Chris. Now, almost 23-year-old Chris is thinking, Chris Jericho's the best. He is one of the best to ever do it. Because he's still at a top level at this stage in his career, over 20 years in the making. And now he's still one of the top dogs of All Elite Wrestling. Now, what I'm going to tell you is after Kevin Smith's, like, I'm a fan of Kevin Smith. I'm a fan of his films. I love him as a personality in this space that we're in, and I love his passion behind certain projects. But after this past appearance he made on SEN, I thought to myself, I can listen to this man talk about everything and anything.
Yep.
For hours on end, just listening. I don't got to talk to him. I just want to listen to him. And that's exactly what I did. Whether it was about the Schmodown, whether it was about Clerks, or his past projects, or his podcast, or Batman, or anything. Kevin Smith v. Chris Jericho is the craziest thing that Schmodown's ever done. The fact that they're getting this and they pulled it off is nuts. That we're getting it this weekend is the best birthday present I could have asked for. Even though my birthday's the next day. It was no big deal. No hard feelings, Christian. It's just, I can't believe this. And the best part is, this is both their debuts. We have no idea what either man can bring. This is just blind. We're going into this match blind. The only thing we do know is that Kevin Smith's movies will be on the wheel. Because why the hell not? If I had a wheel slice and I was competing, put Chris Anthony Lopez movies on there. What the hell? What kind of
right?
Like, what kind of question is that?
Can we talk about that promo we got from Coy? Like the promo of all promos. Like, come on, man. Like, I got to show Coy some love for that, because that was the most creative and artistic thing you could do, and it fit so well.
It was perfect. Coy, you can obviously tell Coy spent some time on that thing, and I'm so glad he did, because what a great watch. And I believe you're the one that shared it with me in the first place. I'm like, yo, like this Coy promo it's rad, and it's almost like the Schmodown's ultimate homage to Kevin Smith as a filmmaker and as a personality. It was a beautiful bridge between the Schmodown and Kevin Smith. And Coy was just at the center of that. I love that promo. And it's like how you mentioned Dan's earlier, how Dan sticks out in your brain. I think when we look back at the year in December, we will look back at Dan's promo and Coy's in regards to this match.
Can we start getting a promo of the year title for the Schmodown Awards? Like, that's something that needs to be done. Promo of the year.
Yeah, if that already isn't a thing. If it's not, then it should be.
I don't think it is.
Pretty rad. It should, because there are, especially now that people are really coming into their own with characters. Like this is something that should be acknowledged, because people put in some incredible work with these promos, whether they're off the cuff or they're made like Coy's, like they're done ahead of time, probably not scripted per se, but it's planned out just a little bit. But Dan's and Coy's have been fantastic.
Yes.
And we will look back at these like in a year, 2 years, and we're going to say, like, that's how you should do promos. Like, whether it's the face hyping up promo like Koi did, or if it's like the I'm coming for you. This ends a spectacular type of promo.
Yeah, like I was just it still gets me, man.
This weekend's gonna be nuts with the Action Civil War again on the Action Civil War 2 on Friday, and then the main event, which to end the show. Let me know your thoughts. I know you're probably leaning a certain way, but who wins on Friday in the biggest match the Schmodown has ever done? Le Champion Chris Jericho and the fanboy of all fanboys, a king in geekdom, Kevin Smith.
If you don't know if it's the fanboy of all fanboys, you got some fucking issues, man. Like, I'll cut a promo for him. This man makes movies. What he's gonna hit his own slice. I will call it right now. He will hit his own slice. Ooh. And I'm making that bold prediction. He's gonna hit his own slice or spinner's choice. It's gonna be one of the two. And you go in here and be like, yo, man, I remember when I did this and that, and it's this, man. Like, he's just got the most infectious personality. I think he's gonna cause Jericho to fucking break and laugh his ass off. I'm going Kevin, the movie man Smith, for the win. I'm not calling it TK. It's going to be a tough match, or a KO. It's going to be a tough, long-fought match, but it is Kevin Smith's win.
Chris Jericho, he made a little promo in regards to this match this Friday. Christian shared it on his socials and the Schmodown socials, and he was effectively saying like this personality Kevin Smith is putting on is a front, because Chris Jericho's no stranger to Kevin Smith. They've worked together on some of Kevin's films, and he said like Chris Jericho is bringing exactly what I wanted him to. And if we're getting Le Champion or just a version of it in the Schmodown, that's already a win for me. Like that's a dub. That's a tally in the Chris column. I'll tell you that. This match could go either way. I don't know. Now, if Kevin pulls his own movies, come on now. But, oh, Lord. I think, oh, geez. You know what? I'll say this to be different. Just so, for the sake of predictions, I will say Chris Jericho will come out on top of this match.
Oh, what a shocker.
Not because I think he's better like at movie trivia or whatever, but I want to see what's happening, and I want to see what these two men can bring. I just think Chris Jericho will just happen to win the match when it's done. And he will, and like the Rock Stars, if this will be the
Rock Stars need this.
Another great push in the right direction on top of the Andrejko stuff. So all I'm saying,
the Rock Stars really do need this. Let's be honest, though.
Chris Jericho over Kevin Smith, but with the caveat that if Kevin Smith pulls his own movies, it's almost unfair, and of course he's going to win. And of course he should sweep the category. He should.
If he doesn't, something's wrong, man.
Yeah, so that's my thing. So that's my one loophole. But I'm Le Champion will come out on top. That's what I'm calling.
I don't think. I just don't.
I get it. Look, it's a coin flip, dude. Like I said, we don't know what either of these guys could do. We have no idea, zero idea. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. And Friday's gonna be the teller, real kicker. I'm so excited to see it.
And I'm here for it. And I think with that, that's it for this week. So just go and plug some stuff we got going on here real quick. Remember,
of course,
November 21st. And we started lining up some guests. There may or may not be a Schmodown guest. We don't know yet. But November 21st, we got our Twilight Twitch stream watch along. All thanks to Chris.
Why you say it like that? Look.
Because you motherfucker.
Okay, guys, just give a little context. Twitch, we're doing it on Twitch. Go ahead and follow our Twitch. It's Watts_Real Podcasts. go ahead and
real quick. I'll throw out the band.
and just show us some love. Join us. All the socials. Go ahead and follow all those. We're doing a Twilight watch along. We're watching all the Twilight films, all 5 of them,
in a single night.
In one night. We're starting. I believe it's 5 p.m. or EST.
Yeah, 5 p.m. EST.
Awesome.
So you get an extra hour of sleep compared to the rest.
Yes. This was my idea because I suggested we should do a watch along for it. And the date was my idea because it is the 12th anniversary of the release of the first Twilight in theaters. And it just happens to be a Saturday, so why not? So we're doing a Twilight watch along. Our boys at Really Scared are gonna host it. I will be along for the ride the whole time.
You along with Really Scared are hosting it. That is a Chris Lopez and Really Scared host.
I know Connor and Taylor are stoked for it, and we're gonna try to raise some money in the process for a charity that will.
I gotta talk to them.
Yeah, we'll announce that soon because we're trying to at least have some type of good come out of this. Yeah. And depending on what's going on, we'll announce that soon before. But that's 3 months away, so we'll worry about that later. So yes, Twilight watch along.
We took this Monday off because I was starting up school and everything, but our fan league really trivia showdown. New episode. We got Connor, the Seaman Demon Pharaoh, going against Paige, the Fury Pharaoh, aka Buck, and you'll see that match Friday afternoon. I know Chris loved calling that match.
Yeah, I'm on the desk for that, and Connor Breedlove, the pseudonym himself, he's something, man. And I had no idea who Paige the Fury Pharaoh was, but now I have an idea. And both of them together, it was not what I expected.
It was right.
But I'm glad I got to do it. So that's this Friday on our YouTube channel. Like I said, just follow, subscribe to all the fun stuff down there. We are constantly doing things. The show's every Wednesday. Really Scared is tomorrow. Go ahead and check out Really Scared.
And also, if you haven't watched 1BR on Netflix yet, be sure to check out 1BR on Netflix and go look at last week's episode where we had of Really Scared, where we had producer Alok Mishra and actress Naomi Grossman. Thank you, Naomi Grossman, on to talk about it. So be sure to check that out. Chris, we gotta get you to watch that soon.
I know, right?
I don't make me fly to Oklahoma, boy.
Wait.
But before we close out real quick, we do want to talk about something real. Because there was a quick moment we decided where we were considering not going through with the show today, considering all that's been going on. And sports are doing it. So they're boycotting playing currently because of what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah, the NBA they opted not to play their 3
games. And it's continued. The MLB players have also done this. We got a text in the group chat while this is going on about it. But teams are discussing striking, and this is a real conversation that our country needs to have. And if I could ask you to go back to our Do the Right Thing watch along and hear some of the thoughts that Chris and I and our buddy Nick had to say, because Chris and I are the only people of color on the table for our entire network, and we wear that with a badge of pride. Because opportunities like this don't come easy for people like us. He's lucky to be working where he's working. Like, sometimes people just see a skin color or hear a name a certain way, and they just look at you a little bit differently, or think of you differently. And it's part of the reason why I love this. Like, when we had Winston on, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Or was it last? 2 weeks ago. Before that, I actually had a conversation with him about how much seeing him in this whole sphere is meant to me, because you don't see many people like us out here besides like Winston and Jay and Dorian. So it's just you have these competitors who are Chance,
RB3,
Winston himself.
Winston, yeah, like there are a lot of people of color that are in this. I was actually thinking about that earlier. I'm so glad you brought that up, because the Schmoedown is awfully diverse.
Janine.
Yes, like there's so many others that that I know. Like you said that to Winston before we had him on the show, and I reiterated your those sentiments when we saw him, because it's encouraging, and seeing what they do every single week, it's inspiring to us. But at the same time, there are a lot of other people that that don't necessarily look at us in the same light. And with what's going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin right now, it further emphasizes what we were saying at our Do the Right Thing watch along. We actually, I think our discussion portion is separate from the watch along itself.
It's separate from the watch along. Yeah.
So if you want all those, that was going on when the George Floyd thing was not,
prominent.
It was prominent in the news.
Yeah.
So we had that discussion, and Matt had told me like, "Yo, do you want to talk about it?" And I would like to say, on top of how much I support and love what these other sports teams are doing, but I echo every sentiment I had during my Do the Right Thing discussion, and everything that Matt said, everything that Nick said, because that's it. It's still how we feel. It's how we felt before the watch along. It's how we felt afterwards, and how I will continue to feel until the correct changes need to be made. So it's a scary situation. It's putting a spotlight on certain things that we need to know, and on certain things that may be disheartening and are hard pills to swallow. But what we're doing over here at Who Are They, like, we are surrounded by nothing but great people, and I can't say anything more than just be good people, just be excellent to each other. That's
Damn,
all.
you just took what I was about to say.
Well, yeah, but that's really what it is.
Excellent to one another. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention, this Sunday we have our Bill and Ted review. Woo!
Hell yeah, brother. So I'm just be cool. Like, just be cool people to one another. That's all we can ask for. I know we're a really small portion, we're a couple people. We're just two dudes representing all of us at Who Are They, but like just sharing these sentiments with another person, and they'll share with somebody else. They'll share with somebody else, and the domino effect will hopefully stop a lot of what's going on right now in our country. So, just be good people. That's what it is.
Yeah. So on that note, signing off. I'm Matt. That's Chris, the person, the personality himself, Chris Anthony Lopez.
The personality.
And remember, folks, spin from the reel and not the peg. Have a good night.